today is look at what happens when you make a freeze frame, which I love to do for credits. So maybe I'll start off by showing you how I like to do a freeze frame for credits, because then you'll see the advantages of freeze frames. This is the wife of the academic dean who was retiring, and our video is called Happy Trails, Eric Schmidt.
Good times with friends and with our puppy dog, and our life in the country is going to be really nice. He's very much looking forward to retirement.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails.
To do a freeze frame, you just right click on it. It's called frame hold. So I'm going to right click, frame hold options. This is how you sort of freeze a frame, because I'll show you what's going to happen to this footage. Okay, so I do a freeze frame, and what it did is it froze everything. If I start playing this, but it's like I took a still picture of you, and I could use this sound as background noise for our classes. The whole thing became a freeze frame. That was not exactly what I use very often. What I like is to have some video that moves for a bit, and then at this magic moment, I'm going to still take the same moment. I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to add a frame hold. So to undo it, I just right click again and go back to my frame hold options, and I don't hold anymore. So it's moving, but I'm not going to move it because I know it's moving, because I want to try to make this into the freeze frame part. So that's called adding a frame hold. And look what it did. It split the clip. So there's movement at the beginning. And then it freezes. So that's frame hold. I would take out this audio completely and put in music, and then I would shrink this little guy up the way I wanted it to be. Okay, but let's undo. And now it's back to being a regular clip. So, but here's what we're going to do instead of the frame holds, which we have one more to show you later, which is a very cool one, we're going to do this. Speed duration right here. You can also right click on it. I love to use the shortcut Command R. When I remember what it is, I use it all the time. And this is the menu I get. So let's make everybody go 400 times faster. I mean, 4 times faster, 400%. Here we go. And the clip became 1/4 of the size. It's really small now. So this is what it looks like. Now, unfortunately, when you do this, the audio sounds like chipmunks. That's why you often have to substitute audio tracks if you really want to do this freeze frame. You are allowed to do a freeze frame between, here, let me change, I'll do my Command R trick. If you only make it 110% or 90%, it will work.
My ears pierced, I'm getting rings, I'm getting
It will be a little faster, and the voices will be a little higher, but they won't be chipmunks. However, I never do that. I just take them out because I love to play with this. So let's go back and see what happens if we keep it at 400, but we maintain the audio pitch, which is an option here. So well, they don't sound like chipmunks, but they are talking very fast. So that is still not really a great solution. Okay, let's do one more thing with this, and then we'll go on to the next clip. But let's do this last change, which is slow motion. And this time, if we don't maintain the audio pitch, this is what slow motion sounds like. So let's see what it sounds like if we do maintain the audio pitch at 50%. So half speed. Well, the pitch is okay, but really you're not going to want to use this. You're not going to want to use extreme changes of speed with the basic sound that's underneath, because it just sounds too weird. So this is why it's good to use this kind of technique in a music video when you're cutting to music, or you have things and you want to speed them up, but you've got music playing underneath your whole background, then it really works. Okay, let's look at my other technique here. Here's Maria, and we'll just watch a little bit of this. She's walking down the stairs. You might trim the beginning off. I didn't bother. Here. So what I wanted to do is to put a frame hold segment where Kelsey turns around. And you can find the exact frame that you like the best. This is a tiny bit blurry, but so I'm going to back up and see where I like her smile the best and where she's the least blurry. So maybe here. And what I'm going to do is right click and insert a frame hold segment. So this is going to put a little freeze frame there. And then it's going to move again. So let's watch what happens. Now, when you do a frame hold segment, your sound disappears, just like when you make a still image. But the last thing I want to show you is very useful. I want to make a freeze frame on this very last frame. If I make, you can't make a frame hold if you only have one frame. It's just the same. It's one frame. It may be one separate frame, but that's no good to you. So here's what I do instead. See this little camera here? I can take a picture of this moment in time. So I'm going to export the frame with the little camera and call it Maria Freeze. On the very last one, and save it in my project folder, and also import it into the project, because I'll show you how I'm going to use it right now. Okay, so I just say okay. It already exists. Oh, I did it last class. Okay, yes. Usually it doesn't already exist. Honestly, I tried to delete that and I guess I forgot. I apologize. What we're going to do is line up at the end with the down arrow and grab the Maria Freeze JPEG, which I just made, and put it in. So stills, it's a still. I could use it as a thumbnail. It also doesn't have any sound under it because it's a still, but it does allow me to have a freeze frame here, frame hold segment, and then stop at the end with a freeze frame for as long as you want to. So this is probably too long, so I would probably trim this back, which is very easy to do. All right, those are the main frame hold options. So let's just recap. Okay, the first one was the frame hold, which turns the whole clip into a freeze frame. So people sometimes used to use the razor. The razor tool, which is this tool down here, is what people used to use. Now you can split clips with the razor if you wanted to do that and just freeze the portion you want to freeze. That's true. So frame hold options freeze the whole clip, but you can make your clip a small part. Insert frame hold segment has video, moving video, then it stops for just a moment of time, and then it starts the video again. Adding the frame hold is good if you want to have video moving and then stop the whole end of the clip. So as much as you've got of the end, that's how much you'll get. So those are the frame hold options. Now we're going to do speed, which is my favorite thing. I just love the speed options. So let's open up this particular video, which is Adam. He didn't come today, but this is Adam and Abby and Brittany, who did this wonderful footage. And there he is moving at regular speed. Now somebody's mic is clicking a little bit, so you might want to mute yourself if you don't want to be clicking, because I know there's no sound on my track. Okay, let's speed him up. Oh, but before we speed him up, I'm going to make a copy of this. So I usually make a copy. He's in clips. I'm going to open up my clips. It's called Adam Forward. And I'll right-click the clip and either duplicate it or just copy it. It's all the same. Duplicate. And it says Adam Forward, and I'm going to make him go backward because this is the cool thing that you can do. So here's Adam backward. And now I'll go behind this with the down arrow. You have to click on your timelines. I want to put Adam backward right here at the playhead and snap it to the playhead. So that there's two Adams going forward. So he reaches the end of the room and then he comes back to the beginning. But what I'm going to do instead is reverse this last clip. So I'm going to do two things. Let's speed Adam up in clip 1, and then I'll reverse him in clip 2 and either speed him up or slow him down or whatever I want. So speed duration, if I double his speed, he'll be 200%. There is no audio on this, so I don't even have the choice of anything to do, but I do have a choice as to whether the clip behind it is going to have a gap or not. If I check ripple edit, I won't have a gap. Let me avoid checking ripple edit just so you can see what happens, then I'll do it over. See, it creates a gap because it shrunk that to half the size, but it didn't do anything to bring along the clips behind it. So I'll undo that with Command Z, and this time we'll check ripple edit when we go to speed duration or Command R, check it, and I usually leave it on by default. And we'll do 200%, and we'll click OK, and notice it brings back the other clip. However, the other clip is starting forward again. So I want to do Command R, I love that shortcut, and just make it go backward. And if there were any clips behind it, I would check ripple edit. There aren't, so it doesn't matter what I do to it. But now, here's what we've got. We've got a fast forward and a slow back. Actually, this is the real time, slow back up, but it works very nicely. Now we're ready for a beautiful pan of P305. And this was created by Asma's team in group 1. And so let me go to the beginning of the clip. Here we go. Just take a look at this nice slow pan. I was actually going to speed it up or slow it down, but it is so perfect that I decided not to do that. So here's what I did instead. I thought, hey, I'm in the shot, so I will give myself a little credit. Actually, I'm in another shot of somebody else's, like Zach or somebody. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little frame hold segment right about here. Yeah, I look happier here. And just right click or click the clip and then right click it and insert your frame hold segment. And there I have a moment in which so here's the pan. Let's start from Anastasia. And this is where I would put my credits for me, edited by Jan Richmond. Then I would move on to Tyrone, and then I would fade it out. I left some extra on Tyrone at the end. So you see we have 3 clips now. When you put it in a frame hold segment, it divides it into 3. So I'd like to put a little dip to black at the end because I like to make sure all my sequences will go together with their own transition at the end. So I'll put a little dissolve, dip, and just grab it to the end and drop it off. And I think it's probably taking off too much of Tyrone, so I'm going to shrink it a little bit by grabbing the edge of the transition and just bringing it. So let's see. So this sequence should fade out nicely. I would do the same thing at the beginning. I'll press the up arrow a few times to get to the beginning and put a dip to black at the beginning. But once again, I don't want it to be too long because I don't want to lose too much of Anastasia. So let's see how this looks. Pretty good. Okay, what else did I want to show you? I think I've shown you everything. What I'm good, oh no, I haven't shown you how to make a new sequence of your own. So that's what I want to show you right now. So let me go back to my project window. And I actually have something for sequences. And I have, because I made so many. So I'm going to add a new item and choose sequence. And I want to show you how that works. Okay, so here's my new item. It's going to be a sequence. See, here's the name down here. And this is Sean going up the stairs. So I'm going to put Sean's stairs slow-mo because we're going to make him slow motion. Okay, now I had a preset from last class that made it 720 and 480. So I'm just going to leave that preset. Instead of trying to adjust it to match the rest of my movie, I'm just going to take my footage in and make it match the rest of my movie. So notice that stand, stairs, slow-mo by default is the selected option. Remember, if you double click a sequence, when I added a new one, it went right into the timeline. It was ready to have stuff put into it. But if ever you want to reopen one of yours, you can open them from down here if it gets closed. Okay, which happens to me sometimes. Let's go to our clips, and I have a clip of Sean on the stairs, and I'm just going to drag it in and line it up. Now, this is a very important message. Don't ignore it. It tells you that this clip doesn't match the sequence's settings. Do we want to change the sequence to match the clip? Well, actually, my sequence is set up wrong. It's set up for so I'm going to change the sequence settings to match the clip because all my clips are 1920 by 1080. So guys, I'm giving you all these clips if you want to use mine to play with, but I made them all medium quality. I exported them at a medium bit rate to make them smaller. And so there we go. That's just something for you to know. And here's Sean. And let's play a little bit of the beginning. And here he's actually in slow motion, but I'm going to make him in painfully slow motion. Now I'm going to stop the playhead right there where he's walking out of the frame and do a tail edit. Now I didn't give you very much after him walking out of the frame, but let me select the frame. Remember, the tail edit will delete everything from my playhead to the end of the clip. So if I press W. So there we go, tail edit. Now it's time to take our clip and make it painfully slow motion. And I made a new sequence with the right settings. And now all I have to do is, it's a speed duration thing. So Command R, my favorite shortcut. Slow motion means he should be 50% or even 25 if you want to make it very painful. But I'll just do 50 because he's already in slow motion. I have no trailing clips, but I do like to leave this selected in case I'm editing on my timeline. So let's see what we did to this. Here we go. So he's really taking his time to get up those stairs. So I threw in one more clip that I'm going to show you in the sequence. So there we go. Maybe we, it's called Washing Hands. So let me open the sequence. And here we go. We had somebody last year actually filmed themselves washing hands. I'm not sure she used any soap because she didn't want her hands to get too chapped, because she repeated this several times for the video. But it's a very useful video because we see people washing their hands, and she's doing it right, doing the inside of her palms and everything. So I thought if you wanted to have this little clip, you could play with it. You could make it faster or slower if you wanted. And I just threw it in for us to play with. So let me just make it faster, maybe just 150%. That is going to make the clip only 12 seconds, which, remember, you're supposed to wash your hands for 20 seconds. We actually did. Okay, so that is, but you might want your video to go a little faster. Let me stop sharing, come back to talk to you. Okay, so I don't think you're gonna have too much trouble with it. Do you guys, do you want to have these, this footage to play with? It's kind of fun. You can also use your own footage. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do in this demo. I'm sending you how to, let's add Marcelo to the movie. You know, I have Felix and Nick and Marcelo. I do have a little footage of you. Maybe I'll send you guys your little movie part. But you weren't, it didn't work in slow motion or anything, so I didn't use it for today, but I should have. Anyway, so here's what you're going to do. I'm sending you the sheet with all the instructions of how to do all the different things I showed you, and you have to do each one of them somewhere in the clip. Next class, I'm going to show you how to put it all together, or you can even try on your own, to music. If you made separate sequences, I'm going to show you how to put sequences together on the timeline. Okay. So, and we'll also look at video effects, because it's fun to put things in black and white or sharpen stuff.
Yeah,
so
good.
I guess we're going to be saying goodbye. If anybody wants to meet with me on the weekend or Monday, send me an MIO. We can have a private chat. And I'm going to post the videos that I didn't get a chance to post. So if you want to review this lesson and any others, they should be there.
All right.
Sounds good. Have a good Easter weekend.
You too.